The road was dark, silent. Just the distant sound of the wind rustling through the trees. Snow piled high on either side of the highway, reflecting the dim glow of passing headlights. Then, a crash. A loud thud, the sound of metal twisting, tires skidding. A black Saturn sedan slammed into a snowbank along Route 112. The front end was crushed. Steam hissed from the radiator into the freezing night air. A few minutes later, a school bus driver, Butch Atwood, drove past and saw the wreck. He slowed down. The driver, a young woman, stood outside, shivering, her dark hair spilling from her hood. She looked. "I'm anxious. Scared." Butch pulled over. "Are you okay?" he asked through the window. She hesitated, then shook her head. "I already called AAA. It was a lie." He knew it. There was no cell service here. When Butch drove off to call for help, the car remained there. But when police arrived minutes later, something chilling had happened. Maura Murray was gone. No footprints leading into the woods. No sign of a struggle. Just her car and silence. And from that moment on, she was never seen again. Maura Murray was a 21-year-old nursing student at UMass Amherst, with her whole life ahead of her. So why did she suddenly vanish that night? Before her disappearance, Maura had behaved strangely. She packed up her dorm room, emailed her professors, telling them she had a family emergency, but there was no emergency. She withdrew money from an ATM, bought alcohol, and then, she drove. 4 hours. Alone. Heading north. But why? Her boyfriend, Billy Roche, was stationed at Fort Sill in Oklahoma. The night before she vanished, he received a strange, muffled voicemail from Maura. Sobbing. Not saying a word. What happened before she left? Was she running from someone? Or something? Police arrived at the scene of her crashed car at 7:46 p.m. Maura was gone. But there were eerie clues left behind. Her wallet, credit cards, and cell phone missing. A box of wine spilled across the car seat. The car keys gone. And then, the chilling detail that has haunted this case for years. One of Maura's last known searches on her computer before leaving. How to rent a condo in the White Mountains. Was she planning to disappear? Or did she think she was going somewhere safe? No one knows. And then came the most disturbing revelation of all, one that sent chills through everyone investigating the case. A local witness, just a few hundred yards away, claimed they saw someone moving near Maura's car. And then, a mysterious vehicle, just out of sight of the police, stopped on the road, and then drove off. Had Maura willingly gotten into someone's car? Or was she taken? The answer to that question remains unknown. The phone rang. Again. And again. Maura's boyfriend, Billy Roche, stared at his screen in confusion. He had been trying to reach her for hours, ever since he got that strange, muffled voicemail the night before. A soft sobbing sound, barely audible, before the line cut off. Now? Nothing. Her phone was off. Then, his phone rang. An unknown number. He picked up. Silence. Then, breathing. And suddenly, a whisper. Not Maura's voice. A man's voice. Leave her alone. Then, the line went dead. By the morning of February 10th, Maura Murray was officially missing. Police searched the crash site again. Snow had fallen overnight, covering any possible tracks. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no footprints leading into the woods. Just an abandoned car. And too many questions. Detectives started piecing together her final days before she disappeared. The ATM footage, security cameras showed Maura withdrawing $280 in cash before her trip. She looked calm. Focused. The liquor store, Maura bought alcohol, including a box of wine. Again, no signs of distress. Her internet search history, she had looked up rental condos in the White Mountains. Was she planning a getaway? The note in her dorm, a printed email to her boyfriend, expressing relationship troubles. Was she running from something? But then, police uncovered a chilling detail. Maura hadn't told anyone where she was going. Not her family. Not her friends. Not even her boyfriend. So why did she vanish without a trace? Over the next few days, search teams scoured the area. Helicopters flew over the dense, snow-covered woods. Police used tracking dogs, who followed Maura's scent from the crash site, but then it suddenly stopped. As if she had gotten into a vehicle. That led to two chilling possibilities. Did she willingly get into someone's car? Maybe she accepted a ride from a stranger, thinking she was safe. Maybe she planned to disappear and someone helped her. Was she abducted? Someone could have been following her. The mysterious car spotted near the scene could have belonged to her abductor. Then came the most disturbing revelation of all. A local claimed to have seen a man walking near the crash site. He wasn't wearing a uniform. He wasn't part of the search team. And when the witness tried to get a closer look, he disappeared into the woods. As days turned into weeks, the case grew colder. Then, police discovered something eerie. A similar case, just miles away. In 2001, another young woman, Brianna Maitland, vanished under similar circumstances. Her car was found abandoned. Her belongings still inside. And she was never seen again. Could Maura's case be connected? Was there a serial predator targeting young women in the area? Then, one final, bone-chilling clue. 1 week after Maura disappeared, her family set up a tip line for any information. And then, a call came in. A woman's voice. Shaky. Nervous. "You need to look at the A-frame house. He did something to her." Then, the line went dead. The police traced the call, but it led to a disconnected number. But what was the A-frame house? And who was he? That answer would take the case in a terrifying new direction. The house sat deep in the woods. Old. Isolated. Rotting with time. Locals called it the A-frame house, a small cabin nestled in the mountains, not far from where Maura Murray disappeared. It had been abandoned for years, until the call came in. The tipster's voice still echoed in investigators' minds. "You need to look at the A-frame house. He did something to her." Inside, the air was stale. Dust floated in thin rays of sunlight breaking through the broken blinds. A cold silence hung over the room as private investigators, hired by Maura's family, stepped inside. And then, they saw it. On the floor, beneath the old rug, dark red stains. Blood. They scraped samples from the wood and sent them for testing. The results? The DNA was a partial match to someone in Maura's family. Has she been here? Was this where her story ended? The cabin once belonged to a man with a disturbing past. Gary M., a local known for violent outbursts and an unsettling reputation among his neighbors. Rumors swirled. Some said he bragged about knowing what happened to Maura. Others claimed he was seen with a young woman the night she vanished. But when questioned, Gary denied everything. He had an alibi. And without solid evidence, the investigation stalled. The blood? Inconclusive. The call? Untraceable. The truth? Still missing. As the years passed, new theories emerged. Did Maura start a new life? Some believe she escaped on purpose, possibly with the help of someone she knew. The ATM withdrawal, the packed car, and the condo search suggested she planned to disappear. But, would she really leave her family behind forever? Was she abducted? The mysterious vehicle near the crash site remains unexplained. No footprints in the snow suggest she got into a car willingly, or was forced. The eerie phone call warning about the A-frame house raises dark possibilities. The Not Without Peril theory. One haunting detail, Maura was carrying a book called Not Without Peril, about hikers who went missing in the mountains. Could she have wandered into the wilderness, disoriented, and succumbed to the cold? If so, why was her body never found? And then, the most chilling clue of all. Years after Maura vanished, a woman walked into a convenience store in Canada. She looked anxious, glancing over her shoulder as if being watched. When she got to the register, she hesitated, then quickly left without buying anything. A store clerk later claimed she looked just like Maura. By the time authorities got the security footage, the tape had been erased. If it was her, she never came forward. If it wasn't, then where is Maura Murray? To this day, Maura Murray remains missing. Nobody. No definitive answers. Just a trail of questions that only lead to more mysteries. Her family still searches for her, hoping for the day that the truth finally comes out. Until then, her disappearance remains one of America's most haunting unsolved cases.